The beautiful thing about this hobby is that you have options. You know, maybe you're not the type of guy that's into fashion or style or anything like that. Personally, I'm not. I'm horrible when it comes to just what looks good to put an outfit together. Half the time I'm probably not even matching properly. I'm always told, usually by my fiance or someone of the sort, that yeah, you don't really look all that great. You are not coordinated at all. That's just not my style. That's not my expertise. But you don't have to have that expertise to stand out when you utilize the proper types of fragrances. Now, don't get me wrong, you know, you can really have on a nice outfit, something that stands out, but if you roll up and you're wearing the same type of scent that 100 other people around you are wearing, that does kind of dumb it down a little bit, at least in my opinion, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way, being that we all have a very heavily vested passion in this hobby of scents or fragrances or colognes or whatever. And so today what I want to do is highlight 10 scents that will make you stand out just in a crowd full of everyone wearing a bunch of basic stuff. You know, you want to be that guy that smells above average, and that's what these are going to do for you. Really nice little list here. You're going to find a lot of things that maybe you wouldn't have thought of before. You're going to find that these are also still very wearable though. I didn't go the direction of including a bunch of super hard to pull off scents, which would achieve the desired result. However, then it's going to be hard to pull them off. Maybe you won't feel as confident because they're super out there. You won't get compliments and so on. So it's kind of a double-edged sword here. You're going to stand out, but you're also still going to smell really good, and you will pull compliments for most of these given the situation is right and everything aligns properly and you're an approachable guy. Also, I have a mailing list you can sign up to if you're on the lookout for rare, hard to find things, you know, just the hyped up designers that are often sold out. Hit up that mailing list, and every time something like that comes into stock, I post about it. They sell out pretty quick, but that will be your chance to be able to get in there and pick up some rare things. You know, I'm talking about the hype beasts like Luminous Night, L'Homme Ideal Extreme, and Eau de Parfum, and Fahrenheit Parfum, and Issey Miyake Noir Ombre. The list goes on. I kind of wanted to start this one off with Burberry Eau de Parfum, or Burberry Hero Eau de Parfum, excuse me. Now, the original Eau de Toilette isn't really my favorite. I found that one lacked a little bit. However, I do think this Eau de Parfum is a real true improvement to that original EDT. And when I first got this one in, I thought it was nice. At first, I didn't really quite see the need for this for me personally. But it's one of those deals where the more I've tested this out, the more I'm like kind of starting to gain a little bit of a soft spot for it. This one has cedar wood, actually 3 different types of cedar wood. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but they're all 3 in the base. Benzoin, and then even some vetiver in here. So the benzoin's kind of giving off a vanillic sweetness, and then the vetiver is kind of adding some supplementation in the form of a kind of a cleaner woody note to all of the cedar wood. So there's balance there. If this was all cedar wood and incense and nothing else going on, then you're not really going to have that same type of balance here. So the cedar wood in combination with that incense really does do a nice job of creating this masculine smoky smell, and then that benzoin giving it a sweetness, which kind of ties it back to a more modern style of men's scent, which, as we know, are all very much trending in the sweet direction. Ultimately, I think this is one that does differentiate itself enough from the hype beasts, but yet you're still going to pull some mass appeal out of this one, and it'll still be easy to pull off. Definitely a really solid flanker, especially now that you can get it at discounters for below retail. Let's keep things moving with Ralph's Club Parfum. This is going to be lavender, vetiver, and apple in here. So the original is great, and the original started out as an eau de parfum. It can be a little bit confusing being that they skipped that EDT. If you're tapping to try to look up Ralph's Club, the original, you might be looking for an EDT and you can't find it, but it started out as an EDP. So this is the first flanker of the Ralph's Club line, and I'm sure there will be many more to come. And as I was saying there off my little tangent, I really like the Eau de Parfum. You know, it also follows a similar blueprint, very aromatic heavy, kind of in the similar vein of a Y Eau de Parfum, but again, even more aromatics, less fruitiness, less sweetness. And this takes that even to the next level. More aromatics, more woods, less sweetness, less fruitiness, less of the blue fragrance smell. So that's kind of what I like about it. Even with this, a little bit more of a spicy kick. Smells fantastic. You know, the Ralph's Club line already is one of those deals where it's pretty easy to diss or hate on or throw under the rug. I think with time, these will really start to be appreciated more. It's just usually when something like this is put out, you know, the snobs and the trolls get a hold of it first and they tank the rating. But I think over time, as soon as enough people get their hands on, especially the Parfum, which I do think is better, you'll realize that it's really good. You know, this one will separate you, but you're still going to get a lot of mass appeal out of it. Let's keep it moving with Rochas L'Homme, the original. So this one is astonishing with its price point. I think it's as low as $27 for testers with cap, and this is a 125 ml bottle, or no, I'm sorry, it's 100 ml. I don't know where I got that from. 100 ml bottle, 27 testers with cap, just kind of in the lower mid 30s for full presentation, still with the cap obviously, but it makes sense to get the tester to me. So this one has blood orange, juniper berries, and tonka bean in this one. Really nice, aromatic, and woody yet again, but a different style compared to Ralph's Club Parfum. Now, I guess if you were to compare this to something, you know, another scent in particular, not even just a category, but an actual fragrance, I think some people kind of draw the line between this and something like Dolce & Gabbana K, more specifically probably the Eau de Parfum. I think this is much more refined and all around much better than K, and again, it's more affordable. You know, K kind of even is still a bit boring, even the Eau de Parfum, which I think is an improvement over the EDT. This one, you're getting some of that pineapple sweetness, but then the aromatics in here, the woods, it's really well done. This is unique, you know, maybe it's taking inspiration, maybe it's not, who really knows for sure what they were thinking of here, but ultimately, this is one that most guys aren't going to be wearing. They're not even going to know about this, much less if they did, they probably would smell it and think that it's not for them. You know, this is definitely going to be more so enthusiast driven, you know, because it does have a little bit of a different style, but it's really good for the price. So up next, we have Kilian Apple Brandy on the rocks. So besides the obvious here, the apple and the brandy, you do get some rum as well, some cedarwood, bit of pineapple, cardamom, and even a little bit of ambroxan off the top. Kind of catch that when it first opens up to give it a little bit of a more of a sparkle, a bright pop. You're getting that apple, the brandy, the booze immediately off the opening as well. So it very much establishes itself as a boozy scent, a warm, spicy boozy right off the rip. So you know what you're getting into as soon as you pull the trigger on this one. And then the woods kind of start to work their way in as it settles down to give it a little bit more of a masculine balance. Because off the opening, you know, it doesn't really smell like a masculine cologne by any means. And really, for the most part, all the way through, it could be unisex. It doesn't matter. I don't think this one needs to be labeled. However, you know, there is definitely a sexy edge about this one, no matter who it's on. I think this really is just unique and special for what it is. I love apple brandy. I think this stuff is great, and this is definitely one that will separate you from the crowd. Let's keep it moving with Ferragamo Oud. So this one actually is a little bit more expensive compared to some of the other Ferragamos. This is 58, maybe 60, maybe a bit less sometimes. And generally, you know, sometimes you can get Ferragamos for as low as $20, $30. The Uomos are kind of in a similar price range. They're all across the board. This one is a little bit more premium. With that oud, you get some gaiac wood, some tobacco, and some rum. Another boozy scent, although not nearly as boozy as apple brandy on the rocks, and just a completely different scent overall. This one is masculine, so that's kind of the direction you want to go if that's what you're after. I can't remember if I said that it has leather or not, but if I didn't, it has leather, quite a bit of it, with that tobacco, with that rum, the oud, the gaiac wood. It smells great. Really nice texture to this one because you get that earthy, dry, masculine leather with the kind of splash of rum, giving it almost a bright sweetness, but not too crazy. And then some of the oud, some of the other woods going on. You get hit with a ton, and it's really dynamic for what it is, and definitely one that will set you apart from the crowd. Love the presentation on this one, and I love the scent even more. We have Brioni Eau de Parfum. So this is the first of the line. From here, they've released Eau de Parfum Intense, and I believe newest is Eclat, something like that. I don't know how to say it. But I'm just focusing on the original with violet leaf, ozonic notes, cedarwood, and even a little bit of ambroxan in here. Maybe some orange as well. Can't remember. A little bit of extra freshness. Very ozonic, very bright, powdery, uplifting, Definitely a great springtime scent if you want to stand out, and you also want a ton of versatility. Great quality as well, and one you should check out. You know, it's not really talked about a ton compared to some of the other heavy hitters, but this is one that will make you smell unique for sure, and I think a lot of you would really enjoy it. Now we're gonna go fast forward to summertime. You know, really it's not that far. We've got just a little bit over a month until we officially get into spring. In some places, like even here lately, it's been feeling like spring already, which I'm definitely not complaining about. And so summer's following pretty quickly after. Maybe it's a good time to start picking up some summer scents for you, you know, kind of start putting a list together. And this is one you should add if you don't have it yet. It's L'Homme On Board. So this essentially takes place of Popeye Superman. Now, in terms of scent, it is different, but in terms of the void that it fills, it's quite similar. Those obviously have been discontinued, can't get them anymore, at least with normal pricing and you know, without paying a ton of money. And so what I love so much about Popeye Superman, same thing, is that they simply are a summertime version of L'Homme. They still have some of that sweetness. It's not going to be just straight up citrus and aquatic and that's it, but definitely more of a sweeter summertime scent, and they were complement monsters. So this does a similar thing. You get geranium, so kind of a green mintiness, tonka bean, some amber in here. Smells fantastic and really, really fills the void and kind of gives you that L'Homme kick if you're starting to miss it in the summertime. Next up, personal favorite of mine, Valentino Uomo Intense Leather Iris, some tonka bean in here, some vanilla as well. Beautiful work of art, you know, very much in the big three essentially of the sweet iris fragrances. And, you know, depending on how you look at it, or if you shuffle things around, I do think that Gentleman Eau de Parfum Reserve Privé will very quickly work into this rank as well. Maybe that will even boot out Gentleman Eau de Parfum, so we'll still have the big three. Also, Dior Homme Parfum very much would be in this category as well, but you cannot get it with any sort of consistency, at least in the US and Canada. Overseas, I think it's not an issue, but here it is hard to find, and so I don't include it in videos like this. That being said, this is a great one to have. It's unique, and what's nice is, unlike Gentleman Eau de Parfum and Dior Homme Intense, this one's utilizing more leather here. Really gives it more of a masculine feel and a nice different take. I guess we'll move forward to summer here again, although I guess, really, when it comes to it, this could be worn in spring. L'Homme On Board could be worn in spring as well. It just doesn't matter. But this one very much works well with some heat on it. You get out there in the sun, in the humidity, it comes to life, it opens up, it sparkles, it pops, it smells absolutely breathtaking. Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Forever. So this is all about the grapefruit, the ozonic notes, the violet leaf, all of that good stuff. And it smells beautiful. Grapefruit central right here. Not for everybody, but if you want a photorealistic grapefruit citrus, this is it right here. So essentially what you get is the violet leaf is kind of adding to the aquatic feel. Oftentimes a violet leaf accord can kind of give off a watery smell, and so that's what ties this into the light blue line, which at the end of the day is built around an aquatic scent. And then some of the ozonic notes are kind of tagging along with that violet leaf to give it this airy, light, fresh, crisp, just, you know, laid back, easygoing smell. I mean, nothing about this is, you know, high strung. Nothing about this screams, oh, I'm on a mission to, you know, get a whole bunch of stuff done all at once and stress myself out. This to me is the epitome of sit back and relax and enjoy a nice, beautiful summer day. Really nice stuff, and no one's going to be wearing this. Very unique. Last up for this video, we have Dior Sauvage. No, we don't. We have Dior Eau Sauvage Cologne. So again, I always like to clarify for listeners, if you're listening podcast style and you're not watching, Eau Sauvage Cologne, not Dior Sauvage Cologne. Okay, we're talking about entirely different things. And if you click over and look, you'll see, yeah, this is not a Sauvage bottle by any stretch of the imagination. This is of the Eau Sauvage line, which goes back years, very much a classic. This one, the Cologne version, is going to be kind of the freshest. Has bergamot, grapefruit, petitgrain, and orange. Very bright, very uplifting, and I'm not going to say that this smells like Artisan Pure by John Varvatos because it doesn't. However, very much fits in a similar vein with that petitgrain, the orange, all of the citrus. Gives you a similar result of this nice spring, early summer, crisp white t-shirt, fresh smelling, uplifting scent. This one also has a ton of, I don't know, kind of like a elegance to it and a class to it, very much a grown-up smelling scent compared to Sauvage, you know, the original Sauvage blue scent. So this is going to be for someone who wants something more mature and you want to stand out. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for me. 10 fragrances that are above average that will have you standing out in a crowd full of basic, boring, generic scents. Links will be down below. Deals will be on my community tab and on that mailing list. It's completely free to sign up and it will save you a lot of money in the long run. And also it'll just give you the opportunity to kind of have first dibs on some of these super rare, hard to find drops. You guys won't regret it, I promise. And you can unsubscribe at any time. No hard feelings. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.